Alphabet, the parent company of Google, made $26.6 billion in Q1 of 2018 selling ads. Think about that for a minute. 86% of their total revenue is from selling ads. Clearly, they're the kings of monetizing search. And this matters to you because it has an impact on your digital marketing spend. I'm Sean Collier from Etna Interactive. I'm going to talk to you today about why you need to build a model for your paid media spend. I'm going to give you a little bit of the why, a little bit of the how, and a little bit of use. We want to talk to you about the trends that are happening in this space and make sure you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. The largest platforms in the world, like Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even Maps, are reducing the amount of organic traffic going to your sites and increasing the amount of paid traffic. This has a huge impact to you. You need to understand it because your competitors will be able to quickly leverage paid media to reduce that amount of organic traffic and steal your visitors and therefore customers. We continue to see and experience news from these platforms that continue to monetize and sell ad space. Platforms that once used to give us tools to publish content now will allow us to publish it but want us to pay for it. Even platforms that gave us ways to reach customers are now saying we got to spend to reach those same customers. And highly focused platforms like RealSelf are now looking for ways to monetize their business further. All of these are reasons why you need to think about paid media and have a plan for what you're going to do. That leads us to the model. Some view these monetization changes as a negative or overbearing. I really think they're an opportunity, much like the rover you see in front of you. The opportunity, or this vehicle that we have for us, is to really target the consumers who want to buy. Having a model that allows you to focus in on certain keywords, on certain customers at certain times, being able to turn it up and turn it down, and really being able to experiment is what paid media is about and what we really want to build in a model. So what is a model? It's a game plan. Just like your X's and O's, we want to figure out where do we want to go with this and when do we want to do it. Let's talk about the key components of that model. First, you need to set a goal. Don't be afraid to set a big one here. This goal needs to be a financial output. Where does your business need to go? How big does it need to be? Really think about the dollars here. Figure out, can your business support those dollars? Can you sell as much service at X, Y, or Z as you want to? Once you have that financial, now you can say, what does a model need to be? I know what keywords to look for. I know what services I want to offer. Then you're going to tune your model. You're going to improve upon it. You're going to optimize it. Then you're going to test it. You're going to continually test and experiment for different aspects of your model. We want to make sure that you're always using purpose-built landing pages when you're running paid media. So let's talk about the key inputs to this model. First one is your goals. I talked about those financial goals you need to make. You need to set broad numbers here, talk about the dollars. Next, you need to understand the impression volume. How many people are searching for these various different services and procedures that you're out here offering? From that, you'll be able to understand the cost per click. Every single click, someone will want to monetize you there. For each of these services you're offering, understand what that is. After that is your CTR, or click-through rate. What percentage of those impressions are actually going to click on your ad and land on your landing page? And at the end is your conversion rate. You'll put them on the landing page, you want them to do something. You want them to pick up a phone, you want them to fill out a form. The conversion rate of those people is really important. So again, it's your goals, your impressions, your cost per click, your CTR, and your conversion rate. So where do you get these? Two of them come from you. The financial goals and the conversion rate. Those will come out of your analytics and out of your annual planning probably. Three of them, however, are going to come from the platforms themselves. I'll talk about Google AdWords here. They have a tool called the Keyword Planner. When you insert certain keywords into there, it'll give you your predictive search volumes or your impressions. It'll give you your cost per click and your click-through rate. You're going to take those values and plug them into a model. So let's look at the model itself here. A lot of numbers coming at you, so stay with me. This is a simplified version of how we'll initially build a model. We start with the impression volume. We plug in the keywords that we found in the Keyword Planner, and we came up with a real-world example of 27,000 impressions for this particular client. We then looked at the click-through rate and the projected cost for these. We came up with a click-through rate of 5.2%, again coming out of the planning tool, and $2.69. This led us to 1,400 clicks that we would expect to see across this set of keywords. From there, it's some simple math to arrive at the end results. This particular client wasn't using dedicated landing pages in the simplified model at the beginning of our journey with them, so we used their analytics to find that they had a conversion rate on site of about 3.5%, which is not too bad, but we know we can do better. 3.5% times that 1,400 clicks led us to about 50 leads. Those are phone calls or form fills. Their in-house conversion rate, meaning the rate that the doctor turned that lead into an actual service, was operating at about 12%, again coming from their audited data, which led to 6 new patients. In the end, we arrive at what we call a CPA, or cost per acquisition, of $641. That's not too bad. We turned 27,000 impressions into 6 patients and wound up with a $641 cost per acquisition. What would you pay for a new patient? Is $641 worth it? Is it a lot of money? Is it a little money? Well, that really depends on you. It depends on the service. It depends on your practice. But you should absolutely know that number. Once you do know that number, you can figure out where do you need to refine it? How do you need to improve it? Can I sell more of that? Do I need to sell less of that? And that's where we really get into the use of the model. So let's drill in next there. If you remember this scene from Glengarry Glen Ross, Always Be Closing, Coffee is for Closers, great film. We use a similar principle of always be testing. We call it conversion rate optimization. You want to make sure that you're set up very specific tests and experiments inside of your platform. You're paying for this traffic, you can highly optimize this traffic. You need to figure out where it's working and where it's not working. There are 3 main things that you want to test for here. You want to set up tests around your keywords and your regions to find out which keywords are working well, which ones are not, which regions you can expand to, or maybe which regions you need to compress to. Look for phrase match, look for negatives. Set out a goal there and attack it. Next, you want to be attacking your ad copy and your landing pages. The ad copy is what appears inside your search or inside the platform that's monetizing you, and of course, your landing page is where you send that traffic. We want to look at the ad copy and make sure it directly correlates to the landing page, that it's strong, it's attractive, that people are actually clicking on it. Lastly, you want to make sure that your calls to actions and your offers are strong. Calls to actions can happen inside your ads, they can also happen inside your landing pages. Find out what resonates with your consumer, what drives them to submit that form or pick up that phone. Pro tip here, make sure to use landing pages, purpose-built landing pages. Sending paid traffic into your website might generate some results, but we can always generate better results with a dedicated landing page. Focus that consumer's attention, make them do what you want them to do. After our testing and experimentation, we do want to optimize a few other trinkets here and there. So let's talk about a few of those. Maximum bid values, both for desktop and for mobile. Look at the season, the day of week, the time per day. Not every time of day is a good time to advertise. Really tune there. Look at the performance on desktop versus mobile. Remember that most of your users are coming at you over mobile. Make sure your presentation is strong for them. Search or display networks, understand your CPM model. If you're using a display, understand where and how your search spend is going. And lastly, ad quality. This is a huge one, and a lot of people often forget about it. If your provider or your team is not thinking about these optimizations cohesively, all of them work together, you're probably not getting what you need out of paid media. Let's spend one quick moment on Google ad quality. It's a comprehensive score that involves a number of factors. The performance of your landing page, your keyword relevancy, your historical performance, all of these blend together to produce a score. Google uses this score to actually rank your ad. So when I do a search inside of the platform, the first few ads that I see are there because of what they bid and because of what their quality score was. We want to make sure that your ad is always at the top. The top ads get at least 8% click-through rate. 8% is really good. Looking at the model I have in front of you here, you can see that Spa One had a $3 CPC, or cost per click, but their ad quality score was only 4, versus Swaspan had a $2 CPC, but an ad quality score of 8. That means even though Swaspan was $1 less than Spa One, their ad always placed first. When you continually improve your ads, your keywords, your landing pages, you also are improving your quality score, which will make sure that your ads appear at the top of the list. So now let's look at the optimized campaign data. In this model, we're going to look at the same fields, but we're really going to look at what we tuned and improved. Let's start with the conversion rate. The landing page that we were able to produce for this client increased the conversion rate to 6% from 3.5%. This had an improvement onto the number of clicks we needed. We only needed 860 clicks now, 860 people that were clicking through from 1,400, which also improved or reduced the number of impressions required. We only needed 11,000 impressions. That had an improvement on the CPC. We were able to reduce the CPC from 269 to 245. We also saw improvements into the CTR up to 7.4%. A lot of numbers. What's important to see here is that simple improvements to the conversion rate had compounding effects to reduce the number of impressions and costs we needed. That trickles to the bottom line, or the CPA. You can see that our cost per acquisition here was only $351, down from $640. Huge improvement, making it much more viable that we could sell more ads, sell to lower cost services, or go to other directions and other service lines. Make sure to optimize your model. Remember though, that models are really just a spreadsheet. They don't tell you the truth, and they definitely require regular revision. You need to plug in the numbers that are actually happening every day, all day long. As many times as possible, get real data to populate your model and tell you what's happening. To that point, audit. You have to audit these leads that are coming in. That is your source of truth. Look at the audit data to find out, do these leads that come over the paid media channel actually turn into patients at the same rate as all of your other channels? We find that they often convert at a higher rate, but you need to prove that for yourself. So make sure to do those audits. Let's summarize. First, you're gonna have to pay for some of this traffic. It's inevitable, it's happening. You need to build a model to make sure you do it right. Use logical data in that model. Use the forecasts, use your financials, use your analytics data to tell you about your conversion rates, and use the keyword planners or other tools inside of other platforms to tell you how many people are searching for those things. Test, always test, experiment, challenge the data that you see, find new ways to come up and speak to those consumers. Make sure they understand what you want from them. Lastly, audit. You have to prove the model with real data. Now with all that said, let's go build your model. I've told you why you need to do it. I've told you what it is and a little bit about how. If you want to know more, you can subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on Facebook, or contact us directly.